Hey, you guys, Great Awakening. I don't know what time you guys are going to see this, but I am outside right now just doing some grounding. If you don't know what I mean, I'll show you. Doing some grounding, walking barefoot on the earth, reconnecting my energy to the earth. And hopefully you guys can see me okay. I'm trying to find a good spot because it's a bit of a glare. Anyway, I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about changing our belief system, especially when it comes to manifesting the type of life that we envision for ourselves. And just to share my experiences that I've been going through and dealing with in changing my own personal belief system. It hasn't really been the easiest, but I'm doing a lot of shadow work also where I'm reflecting on negative aspects and traits that I have, trying to learn from them, also correcting them and rewriting my story for myself and my belief system. So for those of you who don't know and may not have looked at any other videos that I've posted on here, I used to be a Christian. I was raised in the church, dealt with different denominations up to the age of 11. At the age of 11 is when I became Seventh-day Adventist, came out of that religion 2017. Did a lot of soul searching between 2015 and 2017, which led to me leaving the church in 2017. And I feel that due to a lot of the teachings, the religious teachings in the church, and some of the things that I took on as belief systems that came from my mom, my family. I kind of grew up, I won't say kind of, I grew up with a poor sense of self, low self-esteem, low self-worth, no real high value for myself. And as I looked into, and if you guys hear like anything in the background, just please be forgiving of it because I am outside and other people are like walking around. But as I looked into different things spiritually and really started to go on my spiritual journey to learn, figure out what it was that I really truly believed in as a Christian, I discovered a whole lot of things. And the things that I learned, I understood, or I'll say it like this, the life that I was living based on the belief system that I had, I realized that a lot of it came through my spiritual beliefs. And because of certain values that I was taught in the church, I don't feel that they actually helped me personally. Not all of them helped me personally to live the kind of life that I wanted to live, and did not really help me to attain the kind of life that I wanted to live. So the things also that I got from my mom and my family in terms of how I was treated and those things that were instilled in me, I got the sense that I really was not valued. Now, now that I'm on a different path, I'm really trying to take control of the reality that I live in by creating my own reality and manifesting the life that I desire through changing my belief system, because I've manifested things in my life before, but now I'm starting to have a different type of understanding in regards to manifesting. And it's not just a thing of when you want something and you bring it into your life, it's a matter of retaining it. So it's like we can manifest anything in our life that we desire, but if we have an improper belief system in regards to how we see ourselves and poor self-concept, it's going to be pretty hard to retain those things that we brought into our lives. If there's things that we want to keep, even when you look at the kind of things that we unconsciously manifest into our lives, those things, whether we understand it or not, come into our lives based upon our belief system and our self-concept. So going back, I haven't always had the best self-concept when it comes to myself. And I never believed that I was worth anything. Again, this stemmed from how I was raised, how my mom treated me, and also religious factors that, came into play. There were, now, let me say, understanding myself and the kind of person that I am, I understand that for me, I am the kind of person that needs a lot of affection. So affection is like one of my number one love languages. And two is words of affirmation. Two things I really did not get, barely got as a young person growing up. Without me receiving those things that I needed, it played into how I saw myself, because in return of not receiving those things, I looked at myself as not being someone worthy of those things, or not being valued enough to be able to have those things. The only times that I recall receiving any type of truly heartfelt words of affirmation and physical affection from my mother was twice in my life that I remember. The first time was when my mother sent me to the store, and I was roughly around the age of 7. And I took my brother to the store with me. He was about 4, okay, because he's 3 years younger than me. And the store that my mom intended me to go to was really directly across the street. However, she did not specify this to me as a 7-year-old. As a child, you don't tend to think logically or the same way that adults may think that you should, because of course you're a child. I ended up, and this was in the wintertime, so my mom bundled me and my brother up really good. I ended up going to a store that was way far somewhere else in walking distance. It shouldn't have taken me no more than, at the most, a half hour And I won't even say that, a good 20 minutes probably, to go across the street, get whatever it was from the store that was needed, and come back. And just saying 20 minutes because, as kids were little, and just little feet take smaller steps. But it took over an hour, darn near 2.5, probably close to 3 hours, maybe. Taking my time walking and with my brother going to the store, and it was bad because I remember when I got back with my brother from the store. My mom, they were like, the police were at the house. My cousin Jimmy, my older cousin Jimmy, was there, and my mom was crying. She was worried. She, came running over to me and my brother, and she started hugging us and kissing us and saying, "Oh my God, I was so worried. Like, where were you? What store did you go to?" And I told her what store I went to, and she was like, "Oh my gosh." She's like, Mommy would never send you to that store so far away. Why would you do that? I don't know. I went to the store that my mother most frequented. And when I tell you, my mom never gave me so much affection and just saying how much she loved me. She was afraid that something happened to me, kissing on me, hugging me, the same with my brother. That was the first time I remember her giving that kind of affection and words of affirmation to me. The second time that I recall her being so overly affectionate, physically affectionate to me, and giving words of affirmation, I was like 9 years old. And at that time, we lived in Miami, Florida. And I was coming home from school near the train tracks. Wasn't far from the apartment complex that we lived in. And this white Toyota truck rolled up. This black guy came out. And on one side, nothing but bushes. And then there was an opening where the apartment complex was. And on the other side, it was like all these different businesses, and it was kind of kitty corner like to this taxi cab company, and so we were like almost like right across the way from it. So I was almost home, and I stopped because I wanted to get this grocery cart. As kids, we used to like play in the grocery carts. We would push each other, like up and down in the parking lot, to have fun. So I thought, this would be kind of cool. So I get it. Guy pulls up, blocks me, stops me, grabs me, and definitely intended to rape me. And he viciously molested me brutally with 3 fingers inside me, and was trying to get me to shut up. And he started to threaten me because I was crying and I was starting to get really loud. So he held a gun to me because he felt like, if I threatened her with a gun, I guess that was going to get me to shut up. But of course I got even louder. And he tried to tempt me with money, asking me, if I had the money, like $100, showing me the money in his wallet, what could I do with that? And can he, have his way with me and all this stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God. He pulled out his penis and started masturbating in front of me. And he ripped my coat. I had a fur coat. He ripped that. He ripped my dress. He ripped my underwear. This guy fully intended to rape me. And because I started crying, he like really started snatching me up and saying, "Listen, if you don't be quiet, we're going to go in those bushes, and you know what's going to happen when we go in the bushes." I was praying. I was saying everything under the sun that I could to get out of that situation. When I ended up getting, I know that I was protected because the guy let me go. We were there for a while, but he let me go. When we ended up when I ended up getting to the complex, because after he let me go, I ran. Got there, we were really good friends with the people that owned the complex, and so I went to the office, and the lady's son was there. He went and got his mother, and I told her that a man had touched me because she's seen, my fur coat, my clothes are all ripped up. I had blood coming down my legs. And she called my mother and told her, you need to hurry up and come home. Like, you need to get off of work early. You need to come here. Because normally when we got out of school, or when I got out of school, I guess my brother was in some kind of a daycare or something. We would stay with the lady that owned the complex, and I guess my mom had an arrangement with her. We would, be there. She would watch me until my mom got home. So she had said, that something really bad happened with me. When my mom came, she saw me, and she just, again, started to like hug up on me, kiss me and hug me and say how much she loved me, and just felt like really bad about the whole situation of, what happened. After that, I remember I used to have a lot of nightmares, so my mother also would come into the room where we were staying, and she would, try to comfort me. She would sleep in the same bed with me and my brother until I fell back to sleep. Now, both of those situations were moments where there was like some type of crisis. And I guess psychologically understanding this, I kind of got the idea that unless I'm in some type of crisis mode, that I'm not worthy of getting any kind of real affection. That's what it always has to be for me. In order for my mom to show some kind of affection or express her love towards me. Fast forwarding, 3 people impacted my life that actually helped me, like when I think back on it during my healing time, that actually showed me that I am a valuable person, that I don't have to live with the self-concept of not being worthy of having words of affirmation that are positive and affection. The first lady is this lady that used to babysit me when I would get out of OIC. And Sister Davis, she would, oh my gosh, this woman was her spirit was just so beautiful. And every time she seen me, her and her husband, they would always like take me, hug me, kiss me, especially her. And she would always like grab my face, and just kiss me like all over. And I kind of didn't know how to take it, but I just knew it felt good. And she would just say, oh, you're just so beautiful. And she used to call me Smiley because she's like, I just love to see you smile. Like, you have such a pretty smile and happy smile, and she used to call me like a little Minnie Mouse. And she said that's what I look like, because my mom used to always have my hair in like 2 puffs and bangs. So she used to call me like her little Minnie Mouse. And even when I got older, I think the next time I seen her, I might have been like 14 or 15. And she was the exact same way every single time I seen her. She would just talk about how beautiful of a person that I was, and just love me and give me so much affection and say how much she loved me. And it felt good, because again, I was not a person that was used to receiving this kind of attention. The second person that had a great impact on my life that did the same thing was my girlfriend Rendy's mother, Miss Jerry Parks. I remember when I first met her and Rendy introduced her, you know, I was introduced to her mom and we started talking, and she literally she gave me like a hug and a kiss the same way she did with Rendy. And anytime I would see her, she would always just give me such positive words of affirmation and say how she loved me and um, hug me, kiss me. And for years, I've always admired the relationship that she had with her daughter, with Rendy. And I remember telling myself, because I'd never seen such a close relationship before with a mother and a daughter, and I told myself, when I get older, if I have children, especially a daughter, I'm going to be just like that. I'm going to hug them all the time, kiss them all the time, tell them how much I love them, let them really know that they're very valued and adored, To this day, her mom still treats me the same way and is very loving and kind towards me. I love you, you're such a sweet person. The hugs and the kisses, like it doesn't stop. She's a beautiful, beautiful woman. And I don't take for granted the way that she is as a person and those things that she poured into me. She has no idea of how valuable those things will always be to me. The third person that has made such a wonderful impact on my life as well is my girlfriend Tanina. Her mom, Miss Deborah Wilson. This woman, there are literally like no words, okay? Like anytime I would be around, she would just make me feel so good. The hugs, the kisses from the time that I was, younger, like the way that she would be. And she just had such a bubbly personality. Her smile was infectious, and this woman could whistle so good. I mean, like one of those, like calling somebody. She could do it without her fingers in her mouth, and I used to love it. You could hear her whistle like all the way down the block. This woman was like amazing. Like I loved her, and still quite close. Like when I've gone to visit Tanina when she was in my area when I lived in New York, and I would go see her when she left Florida, and I believe she was in Rochester, and I would go see her. No, Buffalo, and I would go see her. And just the way that her mom was, and considered me like a daughter, I absolutely loved it. The way that she was, it was just, she just treated me like I was so valuable and so precious. When I tell you, those three women had the greatest impact on my life and who I am in terms of me looking at myself and changing my belief system about myself. And anytime I am feeling some type of way about myself, where I have some moments of self-doubt or whatever creep in and don't feel valued as a person, I think about those instances with those women, and I tell myself, no, other people saw the value in me. They saw the value in me. They saw the worthiness in me. And they showed it, through their words, through their affection. So if other people like them can see it, I know that I need to see it within myself. And I know that I am somebody who is valuable and worthy. This goes into the reason why I'm talking about this in regards to your self-concept and the belief system that you set for yourself. Because I don't even really know when it actually changed for me. And I think that a lot of this has to do with your level of confidence, because Rendy and Tanina always carried themselves with a certain level of confidence, and I feel that stemmed from them receiving a certain type of nurturing that fed into a belief system that they attained, which allowed them to um, have an idea about themselves, to know how worthy and valuable they were because of how they were treated by their mothers. Rendy's father as well, but I'm more so talking about the mothers, okay? And what I've seen. Um, and when you have a certain level of confidence that comes from the belief system that you carry based off of your self concept that you have for yourself, which to me then shows you're not going to stand for just anything. You're not going to just accept any old thing. You're going to hold yourself up to a certain standard, which means that you're going to hold other people accountable to treating you a certain kind of way, or knowing things that you will allow and accept in your life opposed to things that you won't and don't allow. And that was something that I struggled with, having that level of confidence, because I did not have a healthy self-concept about who I was as a person, to believe that I was deserving of having decent relationships, that I was worthy of having people in my life that did not always look to get something from me. Like this unequal or unbalanced type of relationship. Like, in order for me to get certain things, that I had to people please and always do, or feel like this is the only way that I can have true acceptance from somebody, is by working to get all of this stuff, when that's really not how things should be. And so that negative or poor self-concept that I had about myself held me in a place for a long time where I accepted relationships that undermined my happiness and put me in a place that continued to cause me to devalue who I was. And this part of it also goes into the religious part, because as a Christian, we're always told that we should forgive, but they don't really, you're not always really taught how to handle someone or how to forgive in a practical way where it does not hurt you or undervalue who you are as a person. It's like, yes, because the misconception, I believe, when it comes to the belief system of being a Christian, is when you forgive somebody that you still have to accept them and their behavior. And that is not true in any sense. And that's something that I had to learn, that just because I forgive you does not mean that I have to continue to put up with your bullshit and have you in my life, that I can't call out you on your stuff. And it doesn't make me less of a Christian or a decent person because I choose to call you out on your stuff, or I choose to deal with you from a distance in regards to how I handle a relationship with you. I don't have to have you in my life. I don't have to have you close to me. You really ain't even got to be in my circle, but that doesn't mean that I don't forgive you. Forgiveness is understanding that at the time that something happened, that you had no control over the situation. Like however it happened, it was going to happen. But it also means that you don't hold any grudge or ill will towards the person. Period. But then you also don't have to have them in your life. You don't have to deal with them. And so for a lot of situations that I've been in, especially when I was married, carrying this attitude, where at the time my husband cheated on me. And I know, like, what I was counseled was that, oh, well, God prefer you to forgive and stay together opposed to divorce. How does that help the female? Because if there's no real change in the behavior of the other person, you're really telling that lady that she's not worth having a guy, her husband, be faithful to her. That she's just supposed to sit here and accept whatever behavior he decides to throw at her simply for the fact that you're a Christian and this is what you're supposed to do. My religious beliefs held me back a lot from honoring and valuing myself and putting a particular stamp of self-worth on who I am as a person, and caused me to take a lot more negative treatment than what I deserved. And until I was actually able to redefine who I was, reevaluate the belief system that I had and change it, and give myself a different self-concept and understand how valuable and worthy of a person that I am, I was not able to really let go of negative behavior from individuals. And it's taken a while because I believe that a lot of females probably go through this more so in relationships when something happens and you are wronged in some kind of way and you continue to put up with the same behavior. It's because there's something within you that is saying that that's really all you're worth having, because you may accept it, instead of saying, no, I don't deserve this, and letting it go and walking away. So I say that to say this: if there is anybody that is out there that also is on this journey, spiritual journey, to understand who you are, do the shadow work within yourself to eliminate negative self-concepts and belief systems that you have, understand that you can change it. Because the thing is, if you want something better, you can believe that you can have something better all you want. You can even manifest into your life something better. But if you're still operating on that same belief system that you're not really as valuable or worthy and deserving to have certain things, then it's just a matter of time before you lose whatever it is that you manifested in, or you manifesting in something really good for yourself, and then suddenly it changes because your self-concept is poor and there's something within you that is telling you that you really don't deserve to have it. It's like it's one of those too good to be true. Why would it be too good to be true for you? Because if you know what your self-worth is, then you understand, no, it's not too good to be true. This is actually what I deserve. This is what, I've been expecting. But you get what you expect at some point. And so once you learn to have a healthier self-concept about yourself, your belief system will then start to change. And what you allow to come into your life and stay in your life is definitely going to be a lot different than what you've had in the past. And that could also mean that there's going to be some relationships that are going to fall by the wayside. And people may look at you and, talk about you and say how much you've changed or whatever. But understand, we're changing every single day. It's part of human nature. You don't wake up tomorrow the same way physically that you were the day before. So why should your spirituality be any different? So I hope that this message actually will encourage someone and help someone on their path, on their journey, If you need any encouragement, you can definitely check me out. You can email me. My email is deespot777@gmail.com. That's DEESPOT777@gmail.com. I do offer services for consultation, and I also will do like some work for you in regards to like root work, telling you some different things that you can do to make some changes, different things that you actually can use, herbs and so forth, that can actually aid you on your journey of self-love or whatever. So just wanted to say that. And to those women, Sister Davis, Miss Jerry Parks, and Miss Deborah Wilson, y'all know y'all got my heart. I love you to the day I die. Wish y'all well, much abundance and blessings. Hopefully, like I said, you guys will get something from this, and stay tuned for the next video. Making my channel all about self-growth. Peace.